What's good, everyone? Weeby is back with another video. This video, like some of my others, is a top 10. So this time I'm trying to do a little bit more of a Thanksgiving theme. And I thought turkey, Thanksgiving, that's basically what everyone puts to Thanksgiving is turkey. And I'm like, turkeys kind of fly. They don't really fly, but they're a bird. Birds are usually equate to flying. You know that. So this is top 10 wind users in anime. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so sitting at number 10, we have Eleanor Viltaria from Lord Marksman and Vanitas. So Lord Marksman and Vanitas is one of the newer ones that I've seen. But Eleonora, has quite the feats in the anime. She beats several dragons single-handedly, and even beats up the main character on several occasions. And all in all, she's fantastic. She's something called a War Maiden, I believe. I believe that's what it's called in the series is War Maiden, and they are a select few female characters that have been given special weapons that give them special properties. And hers just so happens to be the power of the wind, and she uses it quite ferociously and with a lot of power behind it. I think that's about it for this one. So let's move on. Alright, sitting at number 9, we have Hauser from Seven Deadly Sins. So Hauser is a holy knight with the magic power of the wind. I forget what his exact magic power is actually called. But early on, he's got a very charismatic personality. He loves to talk, and he's very helpful. Even though he's, compared to the Seven Deadly Sins themselves, he's very weak. But that being said, it doesn't stop him from becoming the Grand Master of the Holy Knights of Leonis. After the previous Grand Masters both betrayed Leonis to awaken demons. And not just any demons, the Ten Commandments, who then are used to resurrect the Demon King into this world, causing all sorts of issues. His feats are very minuscule compared to some of the others on this list, but he does fight gray demons pretty regularly. So there's at least that. But that being said, it's time to move on. Alright, for number 8, we've got Yuno from Black Clover. So Yuno is a orphan that grew up in the same orphanage that Asta did. They're basically childhood friends. Yuno's got a similar personality to, let's say, Sasuke, where he's very just nonchalant and kind of emo-ish. But the key difference is he doesn't want revenge for the death of his parents. He never knew his parents. He has a grimoire that gives him the power of the wind. And later on, he finds a fairy, or actually a spirit, I should say, named, I believe, Sylphie is her name. And she gives him access to spirit wind magic, making him even more powerful. And that being said, he also is the reincarnation of one of the elves that were killed off long ago. And yeah, that being said, not really a whole lot else to talk about. I haven't even finished Black Clover, and they keep coming out with more episodes. So, that being said, let's move on. Alright, sitting at number 7, we have Tai Chi from Isekai Cheat Magician. So Tai Chi is your typical, I got transported to another world. He goes with his childhood friend Rin. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know. But they get transported to this other world, end up becoming adventurers, and all of that fun stuff. But Tai Chi is not what you would call a magician in this world. So magicians are those who use the four basic elements by using chance and applying the appropriate magical power. Tai Chi is what you call a sorcerer who uses he's a sorcerer who uses summoning magic, which in turn allows him to utilize the entire full power of spirits. So magicians use spirits by borrowing their power for certain spells. Summoners use the full power of the spirit in order to destroy their enemies, literally. And Tai Chi made a contract with the spirit known as Ariel. But it's revealed that that's not her true name, and the power she's been using for him is not her true power. She's actually a lot stronger. She's actually known as Sylphide, the Spirit Queen. And it gives her a tremendous amount of power. But as when he was just using Ariel's power, he was able to fight a dragon. He defeated a dragon. He stopped an entire war. He's done a lot of crazy shit in his universe. But that being said, it's time to move on. All right, sitting at number 6, we've got Inasa from My Hero Academia. For those who don't know, Inasa takes the provisional license exam with all of the students that are considered the main characters. And he has a deep-seated grudge for Endeavor, which ends up costing him and Todoroki the chance to get provisional licenses. But that being said, he's insanely powerful for one of his age. because he's just as old as all of the main characters. And he has a good control over his quirk, which is the power to control the wind. He fights relatively on par with Todoroki. And then both of them decide to, well, are forced to essentially fight Gang Orca. And yeah, so he's really powerful. But the reason he's ranked this highly is because I actually love his personality. He's very outgoing and very charismatic, and it's fantastic. But that being said, it's time to move on. All right, sitting at number 5, we've got Wendy Marvel from Fairy Tail. So not only do I like her personality or her later series personality, she's got a great personality once she gains some confidence. But originally, she was kind of a crybaby and very, very weak. But she is one of the few dragon slayers you meet throughout the series. And she has Dragon Slayer wind magic. But some of her feats consist of fighting a stupid powerful demon solo after she goes into her Dragon Force form. And yeah, honestly, not a whole lot else I could say about her. She does fight dragons, but for the most part, she gets her ass whooped by them. So I wouldn't really count those as feats. But yeah, that being said, it's time to move on. All right, sitting at number 4, we've got Kazuma Yagyu from Stigma of the Wind, or Kaze no Stigma. So Kazuma Yagyu is what you call the Stigma Bearer, I think. I don't know what they're called anymore, but basically, he got the stigma from the Wind Spirit King, which is kind of like his blessing to use his powers so he can utilize wind spirits. But primarily, Kazuma was born into the Kanagi family, and the Kanagis are actually fire users. So he was bullied as a child because he didn't have any firepower. He was born without the ability to utilize their fire magic. And then he comes back and they try bullying him again for the fact that he's using wind magic instead of the Kanagi's fire magic. And basically he comes back and is somewhat of a hired help. He helps solve cases relating to spirits, or he'll do protection details. He went after his kidnapped brother at one point. But all in all, he's a fantastic character. He's got a decent personality. And the romance that is present starts to go somewhere. Um, they'd have to make a second season for it to actually go somewhere, but I have hope. I really do. But yeah, that being said, it's about time to move on. All right, sitting at number 3, we have Shin Wolford. So Shin Wolford, I'll be honest, is more than just a wind user. He uses all sorts of other abilities such as fire, um, water, you name it, he uses it. He even uses hand-to-hand combat. But so Shin is your classic. Oh, I died and I got reincarnated. So he was, I believe, a video game programmer in this other world. On his way home from work, he gets hit by, you know what, a truck. Dies in the street and wakes up as a baby. He's found by Merlin Wolford, who takes him in and raises him and trains him in the ways of magic. And then he gets one of his old friends, Mikhail, to train him in swordsmanship, and gets his old party member, Merida, to train him in magic gear. And so he grows up to be this stupid powerful teenager, and he fights on par with, actually he bests several demons, like all the time. But that being said, I guess there's not really much more to talk about Shin. So that being said, let's move on. All right, sitting at number 2, you knew I couldn't do a top 10 win users in anime without doing Naruto Uzumaki. So Naruto, his original style of jutsu is wind style. So that's his elemental affinity, which gives birth to his wind style Rasen Shuriken. And that being said, he's also probably the strongest one on this list in terms of actual feats. He fights a literal god, granted not alone, but he fights Kaguya, which is the birth mother of Jutsu, basically. And he gains the Sage's 6 Paths power. He has a lot of amazing feats by the end of Shippuden. And yeah, by the end of Shippuden, he's got all the tailed beasts in him. He's basically the 10-tailed Jinchuriki. At least a part of each of the tails inside himself. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about Naruto. He's probably also the most popular on this list, so most people know him. But that being said, it's time to move on. All right, sitting at my number 1 spot is Jin from Yu Yu Hakusho. So Jin is definitely not the most powerful wind user on this list, but he is the most entertaining, I'll be honest. And he also shows a lot of improvement from his introduction So he gets introduced as kind of like a pseudo villain during the Dark Tournament arc of Yu Yu Hakusho, where Yusuke has to figure out how to beat Jin, even though Jin is so fast and can fly around. And finally he comes up with the Spirit Wave, which just completely blows Jin away. But since his introduction, so they have a class system to rank demons with power. And Jin, at his introduction, was probably about a upper C class, maybe even a middle C class demon. And by the time the series is over, they introduce him again as a S class demon, a lower S class, mind you, but S class nonetheless. So he's introduced as an S class, so basically he is top dog. He's one of the most powerful demons, but he's not alone. Obviously, there are several other people who are S-class demons or have powers equivalent to S-class demons. He's just one of the most notable because his personality is fantastic. I love his personality. And his way of speaking is just so unique. And he just makes friends with everyone, it seems. But I don't want to drone on too long about Jin. He's probably my favorite character from Yu Yu Hakusho. But I don't want to drone on too long. So, that being said, that's it for this video. Top 10 wind users in anime. Comment down below if you agree with this list or who you thought should have made it on this list. Also, like and subscribe. I'd love to see you here more often. And of course, go follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/LordWeebius. I'd love to see you there. But yeah, that's about it. So I'll see y'all later.